thunderstorms today with strong southwesterly winds to 37 miles per hour.
It's a numbers game, especially for the situation that we're in. We're coming off of a high water event here. The outdoors is not a hobby. It's not our passion. It is our way of life. We make the perfect cast, slow our breathing to execute a perfect shot, spend hours researching locations and techniques. Regardless of effort, we fail. This series is not about incredible bites or trophy animals. Our goal here at Day One Outdoors is to educate our viewers utilizing new technology to offer a different perspective. Watch as we research new areas, plan out the day, and adjust to changing conditions. If not for other experienced outdoorsmen teaching me along the way, I wouldn't have this life. I owe it to them to pass this knowledge along. I owe it to you. Join us here on Day One Outdoors, and let's learn how to become more successful in the field and on the water from day one. So many times here in the Pacific Northwest, we focus in strictly on our salmon. Now, salmon definitely are the staple of us here in Oregon and Washington, but we neglect a lot of fisheries that exist, like this one here at Odell Lake. In years such as this, when the Columbia is closed through much of the spring, it will be closed again this summer. We're getting very excited about almost 1 million coho coming back during the fall buoy 10 fishery. Well, guess what? There's a salmon that exists right here in Odell Lake, and they number by the millions. They are called Kokanee, which is a landlocked sockeye salmon. Now, these fish are what's called pelagic. They're open water feeders. We're not fishing near structure, near docks, down on the bottom. This is a fairly simple fishery for most entry-level anglers and experts alike. On this episode, we're going to be coming out here and showing you how to target these kokanee not by trolling, but by jigging. Jigging is a very underutilized technique here on Odell and lakes and reservoirs across the region. So we're going to be meeting up with Scott Walters from Lucky Duck Fishing, and he's going to key us in on the 3 different ways to target kokanee through jigging. Jumpers, shallow schools, and hitting those deep schools down near the bottom. And hopefully, catch Mackinaw as well. That's what I'm looking forward to. One of the main reasons why we come out here and enjoy the outdoors is because of the harvest. We get a chance to bring home what we caught in the field and on the water and come back and share it with our friends and family. That is one of the reasons why salmon in particular, coho and chinook, have become so popular, because they're such great table fare. Well, kokanee are excellent table fare because of what they eat out here in the open lake. They're eating on small little what's called micey shrimp and bugs and plankton, and that's how they're getting that beautiful bright red meat that we see in our ocean coho. These fish will eat even better than a fall chinook. If you come out here to a lot of these lakes and reservoirs in Oregon and Washington, you have a great chance at success. It's excellent for the kids and for the family, and you're gonna go home with some high grade, great quality meat for your freezer.
Here at Odell, there's about 5 species of fish that I know of. The kokanee are the big draw. There's thousands. The Mackinaw are the big lake trout that eat the kokanee, and there's lots of those. It's my understanding that both of those were introduced in the 40s, and they introduced several different strains. So generally the kokanee, they're a landlocked salmon. They only live 3 years, and they spawn in their last year. They'll run up Trapper Creek and they'll run up some of these other creeks and spawn. But Trapper's the main one, and then out in front of Trapper, they've kind of adapted and they'll spawn in the mud and sand out there. With the jigging, early jigging, they generally are just hitting it out of aggression. So it's just a matter of getting it in front of them. Once they hit the bottom and start eating, then you'll use corn, and then they'll actually try to pick the corn off your hook.
We just pulled up onto our first spot for kokanee, and this is honestly my favorite way to catch them, is casting for them. It's not even technically jigging, because what you're doing is you're casting onto these fish. Yep, they're jumping right here in front of us. Scott's yelling out orders. So what I try and do is when you see a fish roll, you try and 10 ring it. You try and put that jig right in the middle where that fish jumped, because the rest of school is down below him. And instead of coming and letting it drop on a tight line, you want to let it drop on a slack line, and all you're going to feel is a little pickup, a little tick, almost like a bass picking up a worm. You reel tight on it, come and set the hook. There he is. He's calling it out 40 feet in front of the boat. Let it drop and let's see what happens. Jumping all around us here.
If you want to see this, you can see him here on this live scope screen right here. There is a mac. See the mac swimming into those fish right there. We just lost them because let me get back on them. They're underneath Cody's feet now, but there is a mac on them. That's probably why they're not biting. Monty, right out here at 90 feet, there's shallow fish. With these jumpers like this, it's kind of a waste of time.
God.
Pretty much right underneath Monty, there's some about 30 feet down if you want those.
Hey, Hyben, I just got bit twice right over here.
You see this screen here, they're swimming underneath the boat, and there's a bunch of them. So he's after them. There's the school of Kokanee right there, and there's a mac. Kokanee. Little rice pellets here, big line here.
So as he starts to come down, when it comes to zero, that means those fish are going to be right underneath here. Okay. And then if we see some back here,
20 feet in front of you guys,
pass
right on
back
the
a little
surface.
bit to get into them, okay?
I guess actually reminds me of like tuna fishing. We're trying to chase down the jumpers, run and gun, trying to get them to go.
Oh, set the hook as hard and as fast as you can. A little bit, 1 o'clock. Now they're coming underneath now, guys, in the back. This screen here sees 275 feet straight in front of the boat. And by rotating this, I can scan all that area. And so I see they're right out here.
So done with dropaways?
Yeah, about 35 feet. Straight down.
Oh my goodness, they're everywhere.
Whoop, whoop. Get in the boat. Good enough.
30 feet in front of you. Yeah, I see him coming in. 30
Finally.
feet from me. 25, 20. He's here.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, behind us here. There's shallow ones right there.
Come on.
He's got a peewee.
That's a pig.
Yeah, I got a little mini. Hey,
I don't care, Scott. I finally got one.
That's good.
there he is.
Fishfield is your one-stop shop online for the gear you need here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. From salmon and steelhead, saltwater, trout and kokanee, even crabbing. Visit fishfield.com today to place an order with no sales tax and have the gear you need shipped fast. Fishfield.com, we have what the Northwest outdoorsman needs.
Every once in a while, a new lure comes along that catches every angler's attention. It could be because of all the irresistible colors and finishes, or the patented skip beat action, or maybe it's the wide variety of sizes designed for salmon, trout, walleye, steelhead, mackinaw, and more. But just for the record, we know one thing for certain. We didn't design the maglip to catch fishermen. Yakima Bait Company.
So Scott has his boat set up. There's another one. With just, there's another one. A ton of electronic.
There he is. Oh my God. I see that. He hammered it.
Doggone it, Jim.
I keep getting interrupted by fish. So Scott has his boat just locked in with incredible amount of electronics, which really helps you casting at jumpers, and especially when they go a little bit deeper. The way I initially learned how to do this when I was in high school, just as a younger kid coming out here up to Odell to cast the jumpers, is I just really put my boat into essentially autopilot, just lock the motor in place. And yep, there you go. And if you got a TR1, you can use that too. But I just ran the boat, chose the direction, stood up on the bow, and just every time I saw a fish jump, you cast right at it and try and put your jig right in the middle of it. Hit that 10 ring, just let it fall freely. You'll just feel it just pick up. Like Scott keeps on yelling at me for not doing. Reel as fast as you can, catch up to him, try and get a good hook in him.
We got some biters here. I'll stay on these.
Because we were down in there and we didn't get a hit, going to see if maybe they wanted some corn. So if they hit, we try the corn and they're not trying the corn, and we start getting bites, then it helps the rest of the crews know to add corn.
with corn.
It wasn't a blind cast. No way. No kidding. I hate those.
He goes, with corn.
All right. Whatever. My guys get lectured. I chew them out when they blind cast. What's up with the little ones? We haven't caught little ones all year.
Come down. There we go. See, this fish was trying to attack the corner. I put on the hook. Awesome. That corn works. So I put some more. I give one more shot. There's some jump far over there, maybe like 40 feet. Go!
Okay, there you go. They're 50 feet in front. Dead ahead.
There you go, nice.
There they are. Everybody's in. Right under the boat, 25 feet.
All corned up.
I was so excited. And finally I started getting fish.
They're right behind us.
Right behind us. Straight down, Scott.
Yep, straight down.
So this is only my second one in the morning, and we've been just on them, on top of them all day. And the Mackinac have been active, pushing these schools around a little bit, so they haven't been biting all that well. But Scott keeps on putting us on them. And what's cool about these fish is that these are landlocked sockeye salmon. See their large eyes between that and the super clear water. These fish can see from a long ways away. So when you get a jig that has a nice flutter and fall to it, you can get them pinned up. And look at that guy. I got all 3 hooks on him. Well, straight up and down 20 feet. It's
Straight down, 15 feet. They're very shallow.
yeah, it just jumped right in front of us.
Straight down and out. You can cast out.
That looked like a mac right there. It's really fun about fishing with these guys.
Right there. They're
Scott,
right
Monty,
underneath
and
your
Phil.
feet here on the
You
front
can tell
of the
they've
boat.
been fishing together a lot. Oh, right there.
I like 20, 15 feet even.
They are a well-oiled machine.
Oh, they're straight down. Now I like 25, 30. There he is. There's some chi. Okay, let's see if I can get a home. Oh, no, he come off right there.
That's what you get for bragging.
That's right. Talking smack. You saw him catch it on the screen?
There it is. There he goes. I love casting jumpers. Oh, there they are. There they are. 10 ring. Come on, eat the food. Just missed 2. God, eat it. There we go. Oh. He came off. We just came over to the west end of the lake here, and this is definitely where the rest of the fishermen are. Found our first little school. Scott's calling them out right now. What I did, I put on one of these 3/4 ounce fish field jigs, and because we're fishing slower, we're not trying to find the active fish. I added some corn onto the hooks here since the jig's going to be in front of the fish for a longer period of time. So scent will be a key factor here. You know, before it was reaction, now we got to add a little bit of scent to keep them in the game.
90 feet.
I did fun.
Still a mac on the bottom. And even 20 right here.
Yes, sir. Nothing. I got nothing. Loaded back up some more corn. There you go. Phil's on.
Still like like 65 a lot. There he is.
Feed right behind the motor, just like Cab said. Oh, that's a big chunker. Big chunker. Ivan's got one. Yeah, buddy. So again, even though we're running braided lines, fairly stiff rods, and fluorocarbon leaders. Yep, there we go, got him, I'm on. 20 feet, real shallow. We still need to be careful with these fish. That's part of the reason why these jigs have treble hooks on them, is because these fish have really soft mouths. Yep, we're on them right now. And we want as many points of contact as possible. It's just like tuna fishing.
It is.
Okay, so we were just sitting here on anchor and we were fishing, caught a few 80 footers and caught them in the column, but when those shallow schools came through, they really bit. So I'm going to target them right now.
Salmon swim up to 3,000 miles to return to their exact place of birth to reproduce. Well, most of the time.
About 50 feet behind the boat, 6 o'clock. Let me know if I got a boat coming. You're moving, so if you're forward, you're out. You gotta be back. 40 might be better, 35, 40. Sometimes up here, when there's an approaching front, maybe 24 or even 48 hours out, I don't know if it's the pressure or what, but sometimes that affects the bite, makes them bite a little bit less. Once the system breaks and you get the weather or whatever, it often gets better again.
Oh yeah, this Kokanee special, yeah, it's smoking them. Yeah. We're casting the jumper's cap.
These other ones might as well. Straight down, everybody's in.
So much fun.
I have a feeling you must step on the fish that's like that.
That's a little guy.
Big size. We got a ½ ounce and we got a 1 ounce. And the way I determine what to use, and by the way, this is more important than color in my opinion. If you're casting at jumpers or if you have very calm conditions, then you want this ½ ounce. Once you get down on the bottom, or if you have rougher conditions or novice anglers, you want 1 ounce, or windy conditions. All those things matter. If you can't feel your jig and you can't feel those fish bite, you're not going to catch them. So if you got kids, put a 1 ounce jig on, send them to the bottom, and they'll have a better chance of knowing where they're at. As far as telling which fish will bite, it has a lot to do with Mackinaw pressure. And to try to sort out when a school's getting pushed on, or maybe right after they got an attack, I think is the biggest factor as far as will they bite. Once they settle to the bottom, it seems like they're down there to eat, not necessarily hitting it out of aggression. So they're trying to pick off your corn. And so you just tap it and hang it there, and maybe just dead stick it and wait for them to come by and try to pick the corn off. Still on the bottom.
There he is. Check this guy out. See right here, he's got teeth marks. He got hit by a Mackinaw. See that right there on his belly? This fish has had a bad day.
I'll bring them up. They're behind us. All right, everybody drop. Get down to 45.
Freight trained it. Hit it hard, took it down.
That's it. I'm getting fresh corn.
Yeah, those are just pretty much right underneath my feet here.
The technique that Scott has us doing right now is deep jigging. So we're using those 3/4 to 1 ounce fish field jigs. There we go. Another nice one. Where's the bucket at? Right there. But earlier today, we were running the 1/2 ounce jigs. And the reason why is because we were casting them. So let's go over our gear here real quick. Now that we're deep jigging, braided line will definitely help you just because there's no stretch, and with no stretch, you're gonna get better sensitivity. You're gonna want anywhere from a 6.5 to 7.5 foot long rod. You're not making big long casts. You're only casting at most about 20 feet. Majority of the time, you're just dropping it straight down. Then we also have a top shot of Maxima Ultra Green on our line here. So it's a direct tie from our braided line down to monofilament, and that's called a top shot. And this top shot here, anywhere from 10 pound to 15 pounds can be plenty. Yes, we're only catching these smaller fish in the 12 to 18 inch range, so that is definitely overkill, but having that tougher line will help you just in case you accidentally hook into a Mackinaw, or these fish do have teeth. You don't want them chewing through your 6 pound and losing these jigs. And this jig here is a pink and white 3/4 ounce jig. It's been working okay. So I think the orange and white one's been working a little bit better for me today down deep because it has a little bit of glow to it. And that is our deep jigging setup. Let me grab one of these casting setups. So this morning, here we go. When you're casting at jumpers, your basic trout setup is going to work out great. Again, a 6.5 to 7.5 foot long rod, ideally 7 to 7.5, so that way you can cast your jig a little bit further. This one here is a 1/2 ounce jig and was working great this morning. And this is just simply 8 pound Maxima Ultra Green, just a direct tie on it. You're just casting it straight out there, letting it hit the water. It falls straight down. You feel that little pickup, reel come tight and get on it. So you don't need that expensive braided line on your shallow water jigging setup, but on your deep water setup, you're definitely going to want braided line for that lack of stretch so you can feel that bite down 100 feet. Scott's got us on a pretty decent little bite right now, and we're getting right on the bottom at about 100 feet of water. Starting to stack them up pretty nice.
30 feet, right straight below the boat now.
Now apparently only 30 feet below the boat.
But no, those ones on the bottom are still there and they're still good.
But it's been a lot of fun here today. It's only about 11:30, and Phil, what are we at now? Last time we counted?
We probably got about 100 now.
We're at about 100 now, so it's been a slow day. You know, we could be out springer fishing for only 1 or 2 bites, but we decided to come out here and really grind it out for 100. So, you know, you just got to take the good with the bad, I guess.
Is 100 a bad?
Yeah, exactly. think over 100 kokanee is enough for one day. So we're gonna run them back to the dock, start cleaning. That's probably gonna take longer than it did to catch all these fish, but it was a fun day, and honestly, I personally prefer jigging for kokanee more than I do trolling. It's a lot more hands-on. You're running and gunning, you're trying to chase them down. It's a blast. So come on out here, give this a shot, not just here at Odell, but on your local lakes and reservoirs, because jigging is a great technique to utilize anywhere kokanee reside.